All right, Than, you're putting on the nutcracker.
Yo, I ain't putting on the nutcracker. No.
All right, Swifties,
Nope.
press plus if you want him to wear it.
No, I'll wrap.
Press subscribe.
I'll just wrap this around.
Press
me.
like. What up, Swifties? It is the special holiday edition of the Swift Boyz Podcast. I forgot what we're called. It's episode 8 of season 3. If you're listening to the podcast, you might not know that we posted something on YouTube yesterday. We reviewed Willow, the music video. It's YouTube exclusive because it's a music video. Doesn't lend itself to podcasting. So make sure you go to Swift Boyz Podcast, the YouTube channel, even though it's called podcast. But it's there. Just put it up yesterday. I worked very hard on it. So, give it a view. Press subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, as they say on the YouTubes. Anyway, Swifties, we're here. We listened to the new album, Evermore, all the way through. At least once, if not more than once. Once intentionally, and then probably other times less so. As you can see, it's Christmas, December 11th. It'll probably be December 13th by the time you see this.
Happy birthday, Taylor Swift.
Happy birthday to my girl. Okay.
Anyway, so an entire new album just came out 24 hours ago.
That's right, Swifties.
And so we're here to react to it, give you our initial impressions. Scott's listened to the album about once. He had less time to listen to it because he was hard at work editing our YouTube video.
Correct.
I've listened to it a few times, and we have some opinions. We have some hot takes.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Captain Natty hates it.
That's not true.
By the way, Captain Natty, I'm the chemist. A fan reached out today and didn't know that my name was the chemist, so let me make sure to mention that. I am the chemist. Anyway, Captain Natty, the one and only.
Wait. First, can we just take a moment here? Lift up what you just. No, not that. No.
Oh.
Can we take a moment to appreciate the fact that Scott actually prepared for an episode?
I did.
He took notes.
The last time I did this was 4 months ago when Folklore came out.
Oh, I did not know that.
The only reason is because if we're going to do more than one song, I need to have something to say without, just reading the lyrics real quick. So I do have at least one note about every song, so I'll have something to say.
All right, I still have nothing.
Yeah.
Prepared.
He's
but
got
it's all in here.
He's got nothing but hate to dish out.
That's not
to
true.
Evermore. Anyway, Swifties, should we just jump right into it?
I think we should just jump right into it. So if you've obviously if you're listening to our podcast, you know what's going on, but I'll still provide some background. So Taylor Swift drops Evermore on a moment's notice, just like she did with Folklore.
Yep.
About five-ish months after she
Very
drops
soon.
Folklore, and she says it is a sister album. The marketing for it, like the font, everything used looks identical. The songs sound identical. So, no, they are
Hot
the
takes
same style.
already.
No. But they are like the exact. It's a similar style. It's just a continuation of Folklore, and I think maybe we should read what she had to say about this album.
All right.
So you talk while I pull it up.
Okay. Well, the other thing that I wanted to mention at the front of the show is there are some theories floating around the Swift Nation. Is that what we call it?
Swifties?
Swift Nation?
Swiftie Nation.
Swifties are passing
Taylor
around
Nation?
some stories that this may be a part of a trio. So we have the sister albums. Maybe there will also be a brother album.
So, okay, first of all, that's stupid. Second of all, she's basically already completely negated that.
No offense to all the Swifties who believe in that theory.
Well, I'm sorry, just do your research. Taylor Swift, yesterday, before the Willow music video was released on the YouTube chat, answered fans' questions. And one of the things that she said was that... okay, I'm not going to find I'm looking for the actual quote. I remember what she said. Sorry. I'm looking for the actual quote. I don't see the quote, but basically she sees folk. Oh, here it is. This is a quote. She typed this into the YouTubes.
Okay.
I wanted Evermore to represent fall and winter, while Folklore represents spring and summer. I've always wanted to do a 2-part anthology that's a collective body of work, and it just kind of happened naturally. She explicitly says 2-part anthology.
She's lying. She lies to us all the time. Remember those 2 Instagram posts captioned "Not a lot going on at the moment"?
Well, that's just her code now for about to release an album in the next week.
She lies to the Swifties, and this is another one of those lies. What's the name of the third album that's coming out?
What? I mean, clearly, what?
Brother album to Folklore.
Okay, even if it does exist, there's 0% chance that a title is out
No,
there.
but I mean, like...
She literally just released an album yesterday.
Right, no, but people had theories about it.
All right, this is a dumb theory. We've literally already negated it from Taylor Swift's own words.
It's all over TikTok. Just look at TikTok. We have a TikTok, by the way. Don't look at it, though. There's nothing good on there. Anyway, Swifties. But do look at our Instagram. We have good stuff on there.
Oh, yeah. We've been posting a lot of dank memes.
Dank memes, Swifties. At Swift Boyz, SwiftBoyz. All one word. Okay, Swifties. You had more to say before we...
Well, I was thinking about we could read her long-ass essay about... do we want to?
Read me some snippets. I don't want a whole essay.
Okay, just to summarize. So she released a similar thing for Folklore, and she kind of summarizes what some of the songs are about. So it's continuing the theme of Folklore. Like, some of these songs are definitely about her life. Some of them are just... She created these stories and these, ideas and whatnot. And so I guess just to give you a little tease of the album, if you haven't heard it yet, or, you haven't really dove deep into it yet, she says, before I knew it, there were 17 tales, some of which are mirrored or intersecting with one another.
Woodvale. Sorry, Swifties. Producer Stevie just showed me Woodvale is the supposed name of the third Brother album. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, again, that's so dumb because it would have to end with O-R-E. Folklore, Evermore, it's going to be something...
No, because somebody found the word Woodvale hidden in the Folklore title picture. It was just hidden up there in the woods. No reason for it.
There's no way that's true.
I didn't fact check it, but that's what Swifty said.
Thanks for interrupting me.
Back to it. Sorry.
Before I knew it, there were 17 tales, some of which are mirrored or intersecting with one another. The one about two young con artists who fall in love while hanging out at fancy resorts, trying to score rich romantic beneficiaries. The one where longtime college sweethearts had very different plans for the same night, one to end it and one who brought a ring. Dorothea, the girl who left her small town to chase down Hollywood dreams, and what happens when she comes back for the holidays and rediscovers an old flame. The Unhappily Ever After anthology of marriages gone bad that include infidelity, ambivalent toleration, and even murder. The most righteous motive to avenge the fallen. The realization that maybe the only path to healing is to wish happiness on the one who took it away from you. One starring my grandmother, Marjorie, who still visits me sometimes, if only in my dreams. So, again, all these, adding to the folklore.
Lots of songs about infidelity, by the way. That's I know. What I noticed.
That was gonna be one of my points. Is Taylor and Joe work together to write a lot of breakup songs? Considering are neither of them concerned about that? I don't know. Maybe that's just a sign that they're so stable that
just another champagne problem.
Yeah, I guess so.
Anyway, Swifties, let's dive on into this. Why don't we start with Happiness?
What about it?
Just the emotion.
Oh, the song.
Yeah, the song.
Well, why are we starting in the middle of the album?
So when I listened to this for the only intentional time that I listened on shuffle. Oh. So my notes are
so we're going to go in your shuffle order? I think it makes more sense to go... Well, okay, I don't think we should go in order of songs. I think we should give some high level, what we thought. I don't know. I just think that's kind of boring just to be like, all right, Willow, blah, 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 blah. Champagne problems, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Well, I have notes about each song, so I'd like to go song by song. Yeah, and you bring them up.
We'll talk about the songs, but it can be a little more organic.
All right, fine. Bring up something.
Okay, so Scott, what did you think of the album?
Unbelievable. So Happiness, I thought was a great.
What did you think of the album as a whole?
Wait, no. First, I want you to tell the Swifties about how much you hated the album because he just got done telling me front half of the album absolute banger, second half garbage.
Okay, no. So what I did say is that the front half of the album is an absolute banger, and the front half. I think this is a very top heavy album. I do. I think the first 6 or 7 songs, give or take a few, are overall really good, and I think the last half of the album just sounds exactly the same. Okay, and I've listened to it 3 times, and I get that they're talking about different things, but honestly, even some of the themes of the songs are pretty similar too. Mm-hmm. So it's not just musically. A lot of the songs are about similar things. And I get this is a sister album. It's continuing part of my concern about that is because it's continuing Folklore. So now we have this anthology of 31 plus songs, and just to me, there's not enough variety. I think there's a lot of songs on here that I really like. I'm not saying this is a bad album by any means, but it's just different for Taylor because usually every album represents a new era, represents a new style, represents something different. And this is the same. And I know she said this is a sister album. I totally get that, but it's different for her, and I don't know if it plays into her strengths.
You just have to imagine in your mind that this is Folklore. Just imagine that there's 31 songs in Folklore. We're still in the same era.
But okay, so then you get into quantity over quality, which is more important. Because
true.
I think, as an artist, I think it makes more sense to release a 15-song album with the best from both albums than two 15-song albums that include some that are, people will listen to a couple times and then just not listen to again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know from a business perspective, it makes sense for her to release as many albums as she can because she's popular enough and is good enough that she'll make a ton of money, even off the songs that aren't as good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like how Lover could have benefited from chopping off 4 songs.
Not to the extent that this one could, I don't think. I think Lover had a lot more variety. Even the ones that you think could get cut off, or at least different. Like False God was such a unique song at the time. It's Nice to Have a Friend was a very unique song, even though that's one that you probably haven't listened to for like a year.
Right, yeah. So I guess the first to get chopped off was a variety, since it was different.
Me, you mean the lead single?
Yeah. No, me the person. Me the pronoun.
Well,
no, me the worst song.
But what do you mean by
chop
off? You mean that's the one you would chop off first? Right. But at least then it's still, that was like pure pop, and there weren't a ton of pop to that extent.
Right.
I'm not I don't like the song. Right. But again, at least she was like, all right, there's a couple pure pop songs, a couple more like moody, there was enough variety. Yeah. Whereas this, it just feels like, all right, we've gotten 31 of the basically exact same song. And there is a little bit of variety, and I do like thematically, there's different stories. I appreciate the difference in the lyrics, but even I think Evermore, more so than Folklore, there's less variety on Evermore, which is saying a lot because there wasn't a ton of variety on Folklore.
Here's what I want to talk about. Evermore versus Exile, the song Evermore, not the album. Both Bon Iver songs.
Bon Iver.
Both have very similar piano intros and piano feels throughout. But we were talking earlier about how Exile is a much better song than Evermore.
Yes, I just think Evermore almost sounds discordant. Like, it's just an odd-sounding song. Folklore, Exile on Folklore benefits from, it's a lot more back and forth. You have Bon Iver going, then Taylor going. Whereas Evermore is basically Taylor for the first half, Bon Iver for the second half. There's a little bit at the end of them going back and forth. And also, I don't know, Bon Iver's deep voice is just better than his high voice. Yeah. His high voice is really good, considering he can go so deep as well.
Yeah,
but
it's impressive range, but I'd rather hear the low voice than...
Right, and the song just isn't as enticing. It's not as... The reason Exile was so good is because it was so complex and yet so simple at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so easy to understand, but it's also talking about such a complex situation. Whereas Evermore, I'm still, like... To be fair, I've only listened to it like 3 times, but I'm not exactly sure what it's talking about, and it's not as easy to get into, and it doesn't sound as good. So
the funny thing about Evermore is when we heard Evermore, we thought it was going to be a reference to marriage,
right?
Like I'll love you evermore. The song is about pain.
Right,
evermore.
It's the exact opposite. Yeah, it's the exact opposite.
That was a surprise for us,
right?
But it does end hopeful though. She at the end of the song she says, "This pain will not be forevermore." So we get a little bit of development in that song, a little bit of plot or story. Let's talk about 'Tis the Damned Season. So we thought this was going to be a Christmas song.
It sort of is.
Well, it's a Christmas song in that it takes place during Christmas.
Christmas break.
Like Die Hard is a Christmas movie, or what's that other? Iron Man 3. Iron Man 3 is a Christmas movie. But it's not. Just like this song is not.
Okay, because it takes place at Christmas.
Right, it takes place during Christmas, but it's not a Christmas carol. It does mention The Road Not Taken, which is also mentioned in Illicit Affairs. She says, "The road not taken looks real good now," as she's looking back at this boy that she chose not to date.
What's the line in Illicit Affairs that uses that?
"The road less traveled by..."
That's a Robert Frost poem?
Yeah, correct. Two woods diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by.
Yeah, but where is it used? I don't remember the line in Illicit Affairs.
Take the road less traveled by, tell yourself you can always stop.
Oh, okay, so it's a different line. It's from the same poem. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But, so yeah, they're used in very different ways. Because I think in the Robert Frost poem, he took the road less traveled by, and that was a good thing. But this is not taking the other road. I guess not necessarily the one less traveled by. But this is different because this is looking back with regret.
Right, saying, "Oh, I should have gone that way."
Right.
Yeah. So should have ended up with that person.
A little bit of flipping it on its head.
And this is one of the... I like this song. And again, I would say I like most of the songs on this album. The problem is there's not a lot of variety, so there aren't many songs that stand out, if that makes sense.
Right.
And like I like the style for sure. Like I like the more folk vibe of the album, like I did with Folklore. It's just that it's really hard to differentiate songs, especially as we're coming in less than 24 hours after the album came out with only a few listens. How are we going to pick out, oh, this one's better? Well, okay, I liked No Body, No Crime a lot because that was like so unique on the album.
Right.
That was like pure country, the only pure country song on either album. And it's just such a unique story. Like that one stood out to me immediately. And I really like that one. And I think part of that is just because it stands out and I've only listened to the album a couple times through. So I'm going to snatch on to those albums where I think, or those unique songs. Whereas as I get more listening, maybe there will be some that as I'm starting to like train my ear to each song and I get familiar and actually learn the themes of each song, maybe I will grab onto one of the songs that maybe right now I'm kind of just forgetting about.
Right. Little bit of a hot take. I do like No Body, No Crime. It was my favorite song on the first listen through. But as I listened to it a couple more times, I come to the conclusion that it's kind of the same as every other murder ballad in the country style. Like if you listen to Carrie Underwood, which I do, she's got a few like this.
Well, I will say the song Taylor singing at the beginning, it sounds exactly like a Carrie Underwood, the most popular Carrie Underwood song. What is it?
The Slashing Tires song?
Yeah, the
Dug my key into
that
the
one.
side of his pretty little suit.
Before he cheats. Thinks before he
got my name into his leather seat.
Whoa, wait.
Took Louisville's like at both headlights. Crashed my hole out for time. Maybe next time a thing before he cheats.
Which, I mean, honestly, the songs are basically about the same thing, except in Taylor's song, they actually gets killed.
So Carrie actually has songs that are even more similar to this about women killing either their husbands or usually the cheating husband being killed is common in these kind of songs. Two Black Cadillacs is an example by Carrie Underwood. So I didn't see a lot new here, but I do like the song. Oh, speaking of songs sticking out, you were saying how no songs stick out.
No, I didn't say no songs stick out.
You were saying how a lot of songs don't.
Yeah, on the second half of the album.
Counterexample from the second half of the album, Closure.
Okay, I agree. That is one of the ones that sticks out in the second half of the album.
It sticks out not necessarily in a good way, because it sticks out by, banging metal together. There's a lot of industrial sounds in Closure. It goes ksh, 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 ksh. Maybe I'll play a clip here of the ksh, ksh, ksh. All right, what do you think of Closure?
Okay, I think it's in the same vein as Closure. I like because it was, again, on a first listen through, it's a lot easier to understand what she's talking about than some of the other songs. Like Long Story Short, I still have no idea what that's about. Cowboy Like Me, I kind of know what that's about, but like whatever. But and then all those like Coney Island, Cowboy Like Me, Long Story Short, and Closure to me are very similar. Closure stands out one because it has some weird, sonically it sounds it's a little different than other ones. It's a little easier to understand on the first few listens through, and
we didn't get Closure. So what happened there is our camera cut off. So we will not be getting Closure on Captain Natty's thoughts on Closure.
See what we did there?
Yeah, that was intentional. So Captain Natty, why don't you tell me your favorite song and your least favorite song on Evermore?
Let me pull up the track list first. A few come to mind. I honestly don't. A few come to mind for favorite, and none really come to mind for least favorite because I probably have a group of least favorites because they all sound this like
the second half of the album.
Yeah, no, I mean almost. So just going through, I like Willow. I really like. Okay, I'm just gonna do really like.
I was expecting you to say you didn't like Willow.
This is my most. I like it. I didn't say I really like it. It's fine. It's catchy, and it's a bit to me. It's a basic Taylor Swift song. It's the new stereotype for a basic Taylor Swift song, if that makes sense. It's a new style, and it's just about there's some poetry in there. It's the guitar it's like a riffy guitar. It's like a nice little plucky sound, and she talks about how she finally found her lover. Like that's the new stereotype for a Taylor Swift song, and that's not a bad thing. Like it's a good she's does it well. But I like it. It doesn't stand out. It's just that's the new basic Taylor Swift song to me.
So I thought you were gonna tell me that you hated Willow because
why?
Because to me it feels like a rehash of Invisible String.
Right. Well, that's what I just basically said. It's the new basic stereotype of a Taylor Swift song.
So, but it's so intentionally it's intentionally similar to Invisible String because we saw that the music video has the same imagery, and if we listen to the guitar at the beginning, they sound very similar. In fact, as I was listening to this an hour ago on my shuffle, the song Willow came on, and I thought it had finished the album and gone on to Folklore, and I thought I was listening to Invisible String. Let me real quickly insert the guitar parts here. So that was pretty similar, right? So I thought you were going to tell me that you didn't like the song because it is rehashed. So, but related to that, since it's such an intentional homage to it, I was thinking, is it a sequel? Is it the same story from another perspective? But I couldn't see the difference in there that makes them two parts of a whole rather than two identical segments.
Right. Well, yeah, I would say Willow is one of the few songs on Folklore that's definitely about Taylor's relationship with William Bowery, aka Joe. But so that's obviously there's going to be similarities because they're both. Invisible String is also about that. Mm-hmm. And I think Invisible String is better because there's more anecdotal like stories and things, whereas Willow is a lot more just like high level, vague, not as many like clear cut stories. Whereas Invisible String is just she picture after picture of her life leading up to this relationship, and within the relationship we like see snippets of it. And this one is a lot more. There's not that. It's just more like poetry, I guess.
But so it seems like a rehash without improving is my
right.
qualm.
Again, that's why I said it's a stereotype. Again, that's why I like it. It's fun. It's fun to listen to. I like her voice in it. It's like there's some nice like musical parts, and the lyrics they're fine. They're good. They just don't stand out, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's where I said it's become the basic Taylor Swift. Like that's like what you can now expect from Taylor Swift, and that's not a bad thing. Like she's good at it, right? But it's just now that's the baseline level that we judge things off of because that's just what we're used to, right? If that makes sense. So Willow, I like it. It doesn't stand out. I like it.
Very high standards here at the Swift Boyz Podcast.
Yeah, I mean she deserves to be held to a high standard. Champagne Problems, I really like that.
Oh, I can't believe we haven't talked about Champagne Problems. That's probably my favorite song.
Yeah, that's one of the best I would say on the album. I like the like the music, the like short phrase, like very like it's not upbeat, but you know what I mean. I don't know. It's like it's piano, but it's like snippets. You have like phrase. It's like short phrases. It makes up the entire song.
Okay, I'll put a little snippet here so we can see.
Anyway, and then also just like the story is like, you know, the idea of it being from the perspective, not, you know, we're so used to like her writing it, like it would normally be from the guy's perspective who got rejected when he proposes, but no, it's from the girl's perspective. Yeah, doing the rejecting, and that's like unusual for Taylor, obviously, because we're used to her doing breakup songs from like being heartbroken, where this is the other way around, where it's like, oh shoot, I just like destroyed this dude's life.
Yeah, my notes that I took for this song, it says first verse, wow. So that first verse really stuck with me. I think it's so poetic, this whole song, and it's just absolutely devastating. That's my other thing I wrote down. That it could destroy you to listen to this song.
This is where I think it's one of the Champagne Problems is one of the more unique songs on the album, which is not. It's saying a lot about the album because it's not that unique sounding, but it's still a little more unique than some of these other ones. Like it doesn't remind me of a previous song that she's done. Whereas like Willow, you reference Invisible String. The next song, Gold Rush, is just like it. To me, it's like a rehash of things on Reputation because Gold Rush is basically about her being like, I don't like that other people are in love with you, which is like Gorgeous, and like other songs from Reputation about like, you know, I'm in love with you, but so many other people are also in love with you, and I don't like worrying about that. That's basically the whole point of Gold Rush. And it's just like, at least based on the first few listens.
Yeah, I think
so. It's like, okay, again, musically it's a little different than the rest of the album, which I like. So it's kind of fun to listen to, but underneath that, there's not much there to me. But I still think it's one of the better songs on the album because it just stands out more than some others. Tis the Damn Season we already talked about. I think that one's pretty good. Tolerate It, I need to listen to more. It's track 5, so I don't want to just... It's meant to be like harder to understand, or like there's meant to be more there, right? It's track 5.
It's also about an older man, possibly John Mayer.
Well, yeah, if we weren't in the era of Folklore where honestly by default we should assume songs aren't about her, then I would maybe think that. But I think this is just one of her stories.
Dear John.
Which she talks about. Well, no.
Don't you think I was too young to be messed with?
Anyway, she talks about... This song is one of the ones she talks about in her, essay where she describes some of the folklore songs. So I think it is just about a relationship where I picture, like, a marriage 20, 30 years in where it's just... You just tolerate the other person, right? It's just life. There's no spark.
Yeah, it's definitely... It's an unbalanced relationship. Right. She likes him more than he likes her.
Right. And so... Yeah, there's some, sorrow and, sadness there, which I think why she put it at track 5. But musically, it just doesn't stand out to me. And I lyrically haven't been able to listen to it enough to really appreciate any sort of imagery. So I think I have to come back. I don't think I can judge this one fairly yet. I don't think
TBD.
I can judge it. Yeah, TBD. Nobody No Crime we already talked about. I really like that one. It's it's definitely the most unique song on the album. And so that one gets a thumbs up for me. Happiness, literally... I don't remember it at all.
So happiness is like similar to Holy Ground. How Holy Ground talks about a relationship has ended, but you still look back at it and you got something out of it. It's not like you wasted 6 months of your life. She says, I look back, or I forget the line. I was happy back then.
Oh yeah, I remember that line.
I was happy because of you,
and now I'm still happy. Yeah, no, I know.
I'll play the line.
Yeah, we're not explaining it, but yes, it's like I'm happy for you now, basically. Yeah, she's over it.
There'll be happiness after you, but there was happiness because of you.
If that makes sense.
And then the other thing is, she says, I hope the new girl you end up with is a beautiful fool. And we know that Taylor Swift absolutely loves referencing The Great Gatsby. Beautiful fool is a line Daisy says, that's the best thing a girl can be in this world, a beautiful fool.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's basically saying that it's better to be ignorant because then you don't understand how messed up things are. Huh. You just, everything's fine, everybody's nice to you, and you don't think anything of it.
Interesting. Okay, moving on. Dorothea, my initial thought was oh, this is like the identical twin of Betty. And I didn't mean that I meant that songs are like identical twins, but you could almost call the characters identical twins because Taylor did confirm that she envisions Dorothea as going to the same high school as Betty, which is interesting. And the her voice, her style of singing in both Dorothea and Betty are very similar. And there are kind of some similar themes in there. So one's okay.
We also know that Dorothy is the girl from 'Tis the Damn Season.
Oh yeah, she confirms that in that thing we read earlier. She confirms that.
Right, and there were enough clues to figure that out even with the lyrics
Right,
alone.
It's from both perspectives. And then after Dorothea, we have Coney Island, which to me was my first reaction listening to Coney Island was this sounds exactly the same as Happiness, 2 songs before. And then right as I was thinking that The National started singing, and so I was oh, this is a little different. So it's another duet, which is nice, but I need to listen to it more. It doesn't stand out to me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I just need to listen to it more.
There is a twist in this song. I won't spoil it just in case any Swifties haven't heard it before, but there's a twist.
I haven't noticed it, so I'll have to look out for that. Ivy is very similar to Illicit Affairs, thematically. But I really like the sound. I think that Ivy is the one that stands out to me most on the second half of the album. It's the one I think I would pick Ivy as my favorite on the second half.
So I didn't have Ivy as one of my tops just because it's another song about cheating, which we've heard a lot. No,
I know. Yeah, that's sort of thematically. It's all right, this again. But I like the chorus. It's a catchy chorus. I'm not going to sing it because I won't be able to. But
I'll put a little clip.
If you
yeah, sing it for us.
No, I'm not, because I'm not the one doing the editing, and Scott will leave something embarrassing in.
I mean, of course I'll leave it in if you sing it. I'm leaving in my Taylor or my Kitty.
And then we kind of already started talking about the rest of these. Cowboy Like Me was a disappointment because we were expecting country, and it wasn't country.
Right.
It's fine. Apparently Mumford & Sons is a background vocal. Marcus Mumford is the background vocal on this.
Interesting.
Which I was listening for it. You can barely hear him. So I'm I don't know why they...
Yeah, weird
Good for him, I guess. Long story short, there's not much to say about this song. I don't really understand it. Yeah.
Nothing to say.
Well, I don't know. I need to listen to that one more, I guess, or I probably won't listen to it much more at all, honestly. No. Don't take that out. Delete it. I'm sorry. I'm saying a lot more negative things than I thought I was going to.
That's not even nearly as negative as he was saying before we started rolling.
Okay, whatever. Marjorie was nice. It was really cute to see the videos of Taylor with her grandma. And I like, there's some clever lyrics, and it's a nice song. Just in the vein of some of the other like personal songs that she's
right.
in the
Yeah,
past.
it's similar to Soon You'll Get Better.
Soon You'll Get Better. Reminds me a little bit of Illicit Affairs, or not Illicit Affairs. Epiphany from Folklore, because he talks about her grandpa on that one, being in World War II. That's kind of nice. On the Brother Sister album, you have one song about the grandpa, one song about the grandma.
Yep, and I think they're lined up. They're the same number, I think.
No, are they? They might be. I don't think so though.
I feel like that's something that would have happened.
Let me just double check.
Confirm it in the comments.
Well, I can confirm it right now. Track 13 on Folklore was Epiphany. Yeah, you're right.
Nice, nailed it.
And she put it on 13, which is her favorite number for her family.
Nailed it.
Or like, I assume that's why she chose 13.
Right. Yeah, she loves her family.
Yeah,
more
good
than
for
fictional
her.
characters.
More than me. Anyway.
Wait, she loves her family more than she loves you, or she loves her family more than you love your family?
More than she loves me.
Okay, so that should be true.
Yes, that is true. Okay.
The
Closure.
alternative would have been much worse.
Closure we already talked about. Like, I guess I didn't mention this when we were talking about it, but it is fun because it's like a twist. It's not from like, you generally closure, you're like, oh, the person who got broken up with wants closure. But it's actually from like, the person who did the breaking up is like, oh, you need closure. And the other person's like so spiteful and just like, no, just like get out of my life. Like
no,
we're done here.
You don't need to handle me, as she says.
And then Evermore was a complete letdown. I had the highest hopes for Evermore. I'm just going to be honest because I had such high expectations and it's just not. I was expecting like Exile but better, but no, they're like, let's make Exile but make it worse. Like that's literally what happened.
That's what she set out to do. She's like, let's have Exile and then take out everything that makes it
you know
good.
what, actually, I don't, just thinking about it more, I don't think I should talk too much crap about it because this whole time I've been like, I wish there's more unique songs. And with Evermore, they were like, all right, if we're going to make another one with Bon Iver, let's make it sound different. And they did. Like it's Bon Iver singing high. I guess that's a little different, but it doesn't sound it. It's just
like we tried you singing super low, and let's try the opposite.
Super high, yeah. So yeah, those are our hot takes. Honestly, I think this is our most hot take episode ever.
Right, these are very hot takes.
We have a lot of hot takes,
and both hot meaning controversial, and hot in the sense that they're fresh off the oven, meaning they will change. These are our initial takes. 3 months from now, Captain Natty's going to be in love with Evermore. Mark my words.
I mean, honestly, I need to listen. A lot of these songs I need to listen to more. Maybe they're so lyrically complex that I just haven't been able to understand them enough to really give them a fair listen.
It's like, could be the case. It's like that one Joker meme. He's like, you wouldn't get it. That's Captain Natty.
Of course, that's exactly what I was thinking. Anyway, before we go, if you missed it, we mentioned it already a little bit, but Taylor did answer some fan questions on the YouTube channel.
Let's go through all of them.
Well, I'll go through the ones that are worth noting. So one of the this is what Taylor said about Willow. She said Willow is about intrigue, desire, and the complexity that goes into wanting someone. I think it sounds like casting a spell to make someone fall in love with you. An oddly specific visual.
That's the Wiccans.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the music video. And then she mentioned how she chose track 5. She said, I decided on track 5 because of the lyrics of Tolerate It and how it's so visual and conveys such a specific kind of hurt. Interesting. Someone asked about whether Betty, James, and Inez make another appearance. Or in August, excuse me. And she says, there's not a direct continuation of the Betty, James, August storyline, but in my mind, Dorothea went to the same school as Betty, James, and Inez. You'll meet her soon. Someone asked what the first song and last song she wrote was. And this is actually a correction. Yesterday, I said that I assumed that she started writing Evermore before Folklore came out. But she said the first one written was Dorothea. And the last, which somewhere else she said that was written like literally the next week after Folklore came out. And the last one was Happiness. She literally wrote Happiness last week.
Wow.
Which is crazy. That the album, like she wrote it a week ago.
Right, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because she's written 15 songs in 5 months. We can't expect. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it.
This is
quantity versus quality.
Like when we reviewed The Archer, and they're like, "Yeah, we put this together in 2 hours," and we're like, "Yeah, I can tell."
I know we talk a lot of shit for like we can't do anything as good,
But I mean, just spend more time.
But I know we know what you're capable of, right? It's like, oh, we just want the best for you, okay?
We want what's best for you,
and for me, and my ears. Okay, so talking about some differences, like what's new with Evermore. She said thematically, we still explored mythology, stories, and secrets. Sonically, we leaned in and experimented more. For example, Justin Vernon is on 5 songs, playing drums, electric guitar, banjo, synth, and sings on 3 of them. So Bon Iver was more involved with this album. Someone asked when they started on writing Evermore. And she said, we just never stopped writing at all. So I guess you could say we started the week after Folklore came out. So that's where I can infer, because she said Dorothea was the first one written. She wrote that the week after Folklore.
Wow. So yeah, the week after and then the week before release. So she wasted no time on either end.
Yeah, and she said she wasn't thinking of anything besides Folklore and Evermore, so it's like she wasn't thinking about like planning a set list or working on surprise guests for a tour. Like that wasn't taking up any of her creative bandwidth.
Right, but she was thinking, of course, about the third album. What did we call it?
No.
What was that?
It's not true. It's like Woodburn or like
Woodburn.
No, it's something else. Oh, she confirmed 3 songs on Folklore were written by William Bowery, aka her boyfriend.
Or fiance.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'm still not convinced that they're not engaged or married already. I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, maybe not, but there's just so much imagery. Well, I assumed Evermore was like about getting married, but now it turns out Evermore is about pain forever. So maybe
right.
Yeah, that kind of negates that. Rip. And then one of her final comment. Oh, there's so many. Oh my goodness. Okay. Her favorite lyric on the album is "Never be so kind, you forget to be clever. Never be so clever, you forget to be kind." That's on Marjorie. That's something her grandma said, I think.
Right.
Or she's implying that's her grandma said that.
That's what I gathered.
She says that's the first time that her and the Haim sisters have done a song together, but they've been friends for years.
Had you known the Haim sisters?
I had never heard of them.
I had never heard of them either. Woodvale is the third album.
Woodvale is the alleged.
Woodvale sounds like a high school. Like, yeah, I went to Woodvale. We had a great football team.
True. She's been binging Dawson's Creek and The Office during quarantine.
Nice.
She wrote No Body, No Crime by herself. It was inspired by her obsession with true crime podcast documentaries, and she used one of her best friend's names as the main character. So Este.
And she also asked one of the Haim sisters what their favorite chain restaurant was, and they said the Olive Garden, and that's why the Olive Garden is in the song.
Oh wait, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's written somewhere. I don't know where I got that from.
But yeah, Olive Garden does get a shout out.
Yep.
Which is really funny. I already mentioned this, but Evermore is like fall and winter, while Folklore is spring and summer. And she says clearly she wanted to do a 2-part anthology.
That's She's lying, Swifties.
And it happened naturally.
She's a liar.
Nix the third album rumors. At least, if she did a third album, what would it even be? It would be even worse than this one.
Valedale at Everdale. What was it called? Folksdale.
Woodvale.
Woodvale.
No, it's not even memorable.
It's so memorable.
All right,
Swifties.
No, there's a few more.
We got 1 minute.
Yeah.
You're wasting our 1 minute.
Yeah, no, sorry, there's nothing else good. So, all right. Well, I know I said a lot of not great things about this album, but I really I still think it's a good album. I hold Taylor to a high standard. And again, take it with a grain of salt. We've only heard this album a couple times. If you're listening to this like 4 months from now, I've only heard the album for less than 24 hours. It's only been out for less than 24 hours. This is just my initial reaction. Maybe it's such a good album that it requires many listens.
Maybe.
We'll see.
All right, Swifties, our battery in the camera is about to die. We have 15 seconds left. So let me sign off here. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Go to our Instagram page, Swift Boyz, one word with a Z. We love you. We'll be back in a week with episode 1.
No, not episode 1.
We'll see. Episode 9.
Episode something.
I mean, episode 1 of the thing. Okay.
All right, bye.
See ya.